Good evening, everyone. I also would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in which we meet today, the Palawa people, and pay my respects to their elders past and present, and acknowledge any of the First Nations people in the room this evening. So, a bit like everybody else who's spoken tonight, I may be a paramedic now, but it's not the first degree that I did. I did a degree in exercise physiology. Met a friend in the health science subjects, ended up becoming a paramedic. Anyway, when I started as a paramedic, it was 2005. Back then, paramedicine was very male-dominated, like predominantly males. We were the second intake that was quite a large female cohort. And so what came with that wasn't really a great experience for me. So I'm a little bit different. I've got ADHD. I don't quite fit in around the place. And back then, that wasn't well understood. So I got a lot of bullying, and I got a lot of bullying from management and my peers, which sort of came out with my career being stopped. So I was unable to step up into any roles because they just didn't want me. I didn't fit in. I wasn't part of the boys' club. I felt that I wasn't good enough. But because the path at AT closed, I thought, well, I need to go and find something else because I've got all this stuff I want to do, but I can't do it here. So I went and got involved in other organisations. I got involved as a student representative of the Australasian College of Paramedicine chapter, just the state chapter, just a student rep. That was great. During my time there, it's given me lots of opportunities. I've met all these people. It's been fantastic. And through that time here in Tasmania, I was the secretary, the treasurer, the vice chair, and then the chair. From that point, I then got elected to the national board, which I'm still a national director on the college board. Also, I thought, what else can I do to actually help my workplace? Because that ACP, that helps the profession. So I thought, what can I do to help the workplace? So 12 years ago, I became a union delegate. And my goodness, the opportunities that's giving me and the education and the understanding of how to advocate for people and how to have really difficult conversations, which is really important throughout your career. So last year, I was elected the president of the Ambulance Executive Sub-Branch for HACSU, which I've had lots of opportunities to do bargaining, sit down with government, sit down with the ambulance service executive. And the most important thing, which I want everyone in here to know, especially the young people in the room, if you're invited to a table, your opinions matter. If you're not invited, they don't care about your opinions, but if someone invites you, your opinions matter. And you need to speak up and give your opinions because that's why they want you there. But coming with that, I did feel like I was out of my depth. And got, like a lot of women, this is not unusual, I reckon everyone will nod when I say this, I had really bad imposter syndrome. My self-narrative was like, why am I here? Why do they want to listen to me? And it's really hard. And it's really hard to stop that voice telling you that. So with the different paths that I've ended up going down, I had an opportunity to do something I was really passionate about. In 2018, I got a Senate inquiry into the mental health of first responders. This is a really, for those, thank you. For those people out there, you would be fully aware that paramedics, police, firefighters, SES, surf lifesaving, anyone that first responds are at great mental risk doing their job. And I felt that we were all being ignored. So I approached Senator Anne Urquhart, who unfortunately couldn't get here tonight because she's fogged in Canberra, and spoke to her and said, what can we do to help change this? And she helped me get this inquiry. The inquiry brought down 14 recommendations, which we've recently had the Parliamentary Library of Australia look into what the services have done to implement those recommendations, and not much. So we need to keep advocating for all of that. But during that time, I found things have been really tough. Like particularly during the inquiry, I got quite a hard time from people. Like I even got some death threats and things like that because people were scared of what I was doing. They didn't see the big picture. And I can understand that because it did feel threatening to people with a mental injury. But when you go through those things, these are an opportunity for you to learn and you can grow. Even in the darkest times where you're really disappointed and things are painful, you can use those moments to learn and to grow, and it helps to make you the person you are today. Leadership is hard, and I took a long time to come to grips with the fact that I'm a leader. Like, I could not embrace it. I had imposter syndrome, did not think that I was a leader. I thought that I'm not a leader, I just do this to help other people. Apparently that's what leaders do. But I would make excuses and deflect. But I think the most important thing is to know is that everybody in this room is a leader. Every single one of you in your lives, you are a leader. I read a book not long ago by a lady called Abby Wambach. She wrote a book called Wolfpack. Highly recommend you all read it or get the audio book. Only goes for about an hour. And she talks about women in leadership. She was a US soccer player, topical at the moment, go Matildas. And her last game, and this is something that absolutely resonated with me, her last game was for the World Cup. And she was, super pumped, I'm going to send my last game, going out on the field. No, they benched her for her last game. And instead of being like, she was disappointed, but then she went away and thought about it. She goes, if I can't lead from the bench, how can I lead from the field? And that is so true. And that's what I've done with my career. I was unable to lead from the field and get a leadership role within Ambulance Tasmania. I can now, but back then I couldn't. But I could lead from the bench. And by doing that and opening up those pathways that I've been able to go and do this stuff with ACP and things like that, I'm not a leader at Ambulance Tasmania. They do see me as a leader. I'm a leader of the profession because of those different opportunities and the different paths that I took. If a path closes down to you, there are other paths you can take. And some of those paths might be a bit overgrown and you're going to have to sort of hack at things a bit. But those opportunities are there. Don't just see missing out on something as missing out forever. No, you're not. It is an opportunity to go and find another way to do something. And most of the time, that's a better way to do something. We also need to remember that as women, we need to support each other. It's not about you getting this job and me getting this job. We all need to uplift each other. In ambulance now, so in the last 20 years in ambulance, it is now over 50% women on the front line. Management, nationwide, is 10% women. We have an opportunity now for our future to uplift and support women into those roles, to be leaders, to really drive the ambulance service forward. With this leadership, you need to know that it's people who give you strength. They give you support, they give you guidance, and you don't just learn from your mistakes and your disappointments. You learn from others. Embrace everybody. Have mentors, the people above you, below you, next to you. You can learn from everyone. You don't just have to look up to someone. Anybody can teach you. There's always lessons to learn. Plus, it's part of being human. The path is rocky at times, but we always must seek to find those different paths, open up those new opportunities, and things will be there that you've never considered. Your future is not predetermined. Just because now you're thinking, I need my ATAR and I need this to get into uni, doesn't matter if you miss out. You can go and work for a couple of years or go and do a trade, and you can always go back. People are always going back and changing their careers and doing the things that they thought they wanted to do, or they start and they go, oh no, this isn't really for me. Don't be scared of change, embrace the change. Finally, I just want to say, to be a great leader, you need to be able to lead your harshest critic. Your harshest critic is yourself. Thank you.